All right, welcome back. As you know, I'm a big F1 fan, and actually, you probably don't know that.
So, yes, I am a big F1 fan, and full disclosure, I'm a Williams fan. But I tried in earnest to not manipulate the results in any way. I do favor the sport in general, so I don't really hate any teams. Like I say, I do like Williams best, but this is definitely a Lego review, not an F1 review. And all these are judged on 3 criteria. The build, which is just, that's what it is. How much fun, how enjoyable was the build? Did it have an interesting technique? Or was sticker placement hard? Or the seams between the stickers didn't line up? Or something like that. But it's just the build. The second one is the design. Again, that's going to be parts usage, how we got certain shapes or failed to get certain shapes. And the final one is the aesthetic, what did it look like overall. So I really hope you enjoy it. I enjoyed making it, and these are some really awesome sets.
Okay, let's see what we have inside. Kind of curious to see if these are all individually boxed or if it's something different. It appears they are all individually boxed. And one poster. Oh, a little damage on the poster there already. I'm a little saddened by that. Don't know why you can see that. It's kind of cool. The option was between getting this box or getting them all individually with the Le Mans F1 poly bag being a gift with purchase, because I would have had the Ferrari. I think I do like the poster better, so I'll find a nice spot on the wall for that.
Leading things off is the Mercedes. So this was the first one out of the box, so it's the first one I built. No rhyme or reason other than just as they came out of the box. So first impressions, this was the first Speed Champions F1 car I built. So there were a lot of new pieces to me. I think they're fairly common for Speed Champions, but new to me, so that was exciting. Although I couldn't give it higher marks just because it was the first one. Just like I don't deduct like a repetitiveness for the last car I built. It's not fair to the cars individually what order I built them in. So outside of new pieces, first impressions, it's all black. There are like 4 pieces that are not black in this entire thing. I don't know if you guys have the similar experience, but when you have all of the same color laid out on the table and you're trying to find this 1x1 clip and it's buried in the sea of black, you cannot find it. It took forever to find the pieces to just build this. It was unpleasant. Secondly, the air intakes there on the side pods. Well, the side pods in general, they're really blocky, but then they put these monitor clips, I don't know what the part is actually called, but it'd be a computer monitor, on the top. So you just have this square sticking off the top of this already square side pod, when the F1 cars actually flow really decently in real life, and the rest of the models flowed a lot better than this one. So aesthetically, it's not great. As far as the driver, it did come with Nico Rosberg. Actually, they didn't say who any of these drivers were, but I decided to name them. So Nico Rosberg is the driver for this one. The minifigures are okay. There's not much special about them on any of them, but it's a little fun to try to figure out who's driving it. So overall, the Mercedes does not pass the test. So it goes into C tier. Sorry, but that's my opinion. Next up, we have the Haas, which was a very different build to the Mercedes. So this is my first experience with how different the cars were going to be from one another. And actually, you'd be surprised to know how much they are different from each other. So that was pretty cool. Overall, the side pod design, I really enjoyed that. The floor was not the greatest. It just kind of has those front elements, which I found to be quite common on a lot of the cars. But the area behind the barge boards was just kind of there. That's the big negative. And then the airbox, I don't know why. I don't particularly like that one stud just sticking up, but I don't. But overall, building this one was much more fun. Now, it's kind of interesting because this one's also mostly black, but they threw in enough color that it was easier to build and more enjoyable to build because I wasn't squinting at my build table. So it was a better car than the Mercedes. It had 34 stickers, so very similar amount of stickers, and 242 pieces. So it was less pieces. So I guess I was digging through less black pieces to find them. The driver for this is none other than Roman Grosjean. The spectacular fireball crash was where you would probably know him from. But yeah, all in all, it is a better model, a lot better model than the Mercedes. So we're going to go ahead and throw the Haas into A tier. Wow, right? I know my description of it doesn't sound like it was an A tier car, but overall I really enjoyed building it, so it gets high marks. Now time for everyone's favorite team, Williams. All jokes aside, this was a lot more enjoyable build than some of the other ones. It has a lot of color with the blues and dark blues, not just black. The airbox, that I was curious to see how they do that. On the real car, it is a big Duracell battery just sticking up, well, an approximation of a Duracell battery, I should say. But absolutely nailed it for this one. It fits right in there. It's the best airbox on the grid, best airbox of these 10 Lego cars. The side pods, they kind of miss out there where they're not quite as flowy as they should be, but they're not as square and chunky as the Mercedes. The floor was also a unique, kind of interesting build, so that was fun. It did come with the first female driver, which became a trend later, but Jamie Chadwick is the driver for this, so that's kind of fun and cool. Nice nod there. This came with 32 stickers, and it was 263 pieces, so very similar in pieces to the Mercedes, but a much more enjoyable build. Again, that airbox battery really put it up there for me. So this goes right in the middle, smack dab, B tier. Very, very good for me to look at that car and be happy with it as a Williams fan. Next up, we have the Red Bull. This was a beautiful car. Absolutely beautiful with the colors and the shape. The side pods, again, very, very well done. Nice and flowy. Completely different than the Haas, but in the same regard, they kind of make the model. And then the floor also, very, very elaborate floor build. And I don't know if that was on purpose, like as far as, so it was a couple years ago in Monaco, Sergio Perez, Checo, he wrecked, and in Monaco you have to crane the cars up. There's no like access roads or anything. So everybody got a good look at the Red Bull floor, and that car was so dominant at the time, I think others copied it. So I don't know if that's why, or if that's just how it ended up being designed. But either way, that floor is remarkable. On the negative side, this was an absolute sticker nightmare. That red stripe that goes along the top of the side pods, all the little, like, of course there's advertisement stickers on all these cars, and a lot of them are very small, but this one, just the critical alignments, and a lot of them I tried to put the stickers on after they were together so you could get straight lines and stuff, but it just made this an absolute nightmare. And it's sad that the enjoyment of the build suffered, because it is a gorgeous car. The driver for this, and don't at me, it's Brandon Hartley. Now, you want to say, oh, he drove for Toro Rosso, not Red Bull. I don't care. He's employed by Red Bull, and it looks exactly like him. So, Brendan Hartley, the driver of this. And all in all, like I say, gorgeous build. But the actual building of it with the stickers brought it down. It would have been an S tier, but it's an A tier car. Still great, just the stickers hurt it. Next up, the Scuderia. This car was really, really fun to build, and looks great. So it utilized that same rear piece as the Mercedes, but it looks less square. The highlight for me, and it'll be hard to see, but there in the middle of the side pods, you see a stripe that's a continuation of the other stripes. That is brick built. Well, there's a printed tile, but they got the bracket is yellow and then a red printed tile on the side, and it lines up exact with the other stickers, and kind of a master class. So where the Red Bull failed in its stickers, the Ferrari excelled. And there's a lot of like critical alignment stuff too, just like the Red Bull, but it worked so much better and ended up producing this gorgeous car. So definitely the side pods is a huge plus because of that. The negative, which it was actually really fun and a unique build, the airbox there, it used doors, like car doors, like city car doors, to get the shape and stuff, but it just doesn't quite work in the finished model, in my opinion. But that's really the only negative I have on this car. Driver wise, blast from the past, John Alazy, or Jean. That's what I thought as soon as I pulled it out of the box too. So first impressions, Jean Alazy driving the 2024 Ferrari. He'd probably be up to it if you asked him. So where does this leave us? Well, drum roll please. This is our first S tier car. So fantastic job, guys over there at Lego, or gals, I'm not sure. Now it's time for the Sauber. Wow, where to start? This was a very forgettable build. There's nothing really special about it. It was a build. It is square, it's simple. It looks like it's just a relic from like maybe one of the original F1 cars they did in Speed Champions like several years ago, before they figured out how to do all the curves and uniqueness of it. The front and the wing elements, those being stickers. So yeah, the front wings do have multiple elements to them. They're not just one big piece of wing. But if you're gonna do that in sticker, and the stickers don't make it all the way across from one piece to the other, you have these terrible lines in between where the elements are supposed to be split. It's just bad. I don't really have, the green is cool, I guess, but there's not much to say about it. It's bad. Driver wise though, we got Michelle Mouton. Of course she was a rally driver and for Audi, but Audi owns Sauber now, so it works. And it's cool to have a representative figure of her in the racing collection. But yes, very forgettable, and so forgettable that it barely makes D tier. So, sorry Sauber fans, but if you're buying these, if you don't want the whole collection, I would pass on this one. Moving on to the Alpine. I really wish this would have been the 25 car, not the 24 car, because the 25 car is loaded with color. Right, this is another black base car. Most of them are black base because of all the carbon fiber, but plenty of color. It's not as bad as the Mercedes by any means, even though it's mostly black. The real standout thing that kills this car for me is the back is a flatbed truck with the engine cover and an airbox slapped on the top. None of the rest of them are that bad. The real car isn't that flat on the back, so I don't know what they were thinking when they designed this, but that just ruins it for me. And the airbox too, it kind of feels like it's not finished, like they forgot some pieces there on the side. It just, that back pack half is just clunky, but the floor and the side pods are awesome, and another good job of aligning the stickers to where it's easy to do. So props on that. Driver-wise, this was a tough one for me, and I really couldn't find anybody that really fit the bill, but we're going with Nina Gademan. She's a Formula One Academy driver. Yeah, it's not a very good representation, but that's the best I could find. As far as ranking this guy, again, it just kind of falls flat, just like the Sauber. So we're going to give Sauber some company down there at the bottom of the list and throw her into D tier. On to the bulls that race. This one, so the pictures online and even the box art, I think it looks way better in person than it does in the box art. But that's also true with a lot of Lego. It's really hard to capture a Lego model with photography. I think it was surprisingly good whenever I got it. I do like how that sticker and the side stripe line up. That was pretty cool. Overall, it was actually pretty cool, fun one to build. Getting the angle for the side pods, but there's two big things that the more you look at it, the more they stand out, and then once they stand out, you can't unsee them. Just like the Alpine, she's very flat on the back, and just like the Alpine, the airbox looks incomplete to me. So I love to hate it, I guess, because there's a lot of elements that really work, and the color, and it pops. The silver bowl there on the back, I mean, that's really cool too. Just now, every time I look at it, though, that's what I see, the flatbed truck with the incomplete airbox. Driver wise, again, another hard one to scope out, but went with Emily de Hoos. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that one, but another Academy driver, and it's not a very good representation of her at all, but that's what I had to work with, so that's what we got. Ranking wise, this one was a bit of a challenge because I do love the color. I like how they did the side pods and the floor, but looking at that back and looking at the airbox, it's going to have to go into a C tier with the Mercedes. It really could have been a B tier if they would have kind of gave some curve to that back end. Next up, we have the McLaren. And after the Red Bull, this one made me nervous because McLaren is notorious for sticking every single sponsor logo they possibly can on the car. It's very Ricky Bobby-esque in some ways. But fortunately, unlike the Red Bull, we didn't have any of those issues. The stickers went on just fine. It wasn't too much of a task to get them there. The seams between them don't really take away from the model at all. So surprised in the good way that it did not ruin the ruin the model with the stickers. The airbox on this, it's right up there with the Williams. I'll still give the nod to the Williams because making that battery is really, really cool. But the build of the airbox itself was a better build. Like it was more fun to build the airbox, but the overall aesthetic falls just behind the Williams. But it's still one of the best airboxes in this lineup. The side pods, another interesting way to get an angle on there. There's several interesting techniques, but how they accomplished the angle on that side pod, that was really fun and neat to do. And the floor, also another one with a really cool floor technique. Does kind of seem to be a trend that the bigger teams, the better finishers manufacturer-wise, seem to have better built in the Lego. I don't know if that's coincidence or if that was part of the agreement that, you know, the top teams really pushed for, whereas the bottom teams probably didn't care as much. But all around, very, very cool build. Driver-wise, we get Lando Norris, although you could probably make an argument that this is Piastri too, but I'm going with Lando because I like Lando. He's cute and fun and charming. So we get Lando Norris, and ranking wise, again, with the alignments and the techniques and everything, this is another S tier car. It was fun to build. It has the nice visual pop eye wise with the orange, and yeah, highly recommend you grab this one. And our final entry in the 10 F1 team Lego Speed Champions line, the Aston Martin. This one was it was okay. Again, it's not terrible. My biggest thing is that it's the wrong color. They really should have used dark green for this. It's British Racing green. It's the wrong color. Especially when there's something in the color palette that is closer, why don't we use that? The engine cover and the airbox there are kind of clunky. It's not smooth like a lot of the other ones. The side pods are nice. They have a nice flow to them. The stickers went on well. The floor was another cool floor, fun to build. But really just being that wrong color hurt it. Driver-wise, we get Lance Stroll. And, of course we do. He's perpetually there, like a bad penny. But ranking-wise, I can't do any better than C tier, and I honestly think that's being generous. Again, mostly because the color's just wrong. It's off. So there's my ranking. All 10 of the Lego Speed Champions Formula 1 cars. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. And until next time, happy building!